One of the things that I want to do with this guitar is I want the back to carve up into a, like, from a profile, end view, end view. If you look up the back, here's the front, here's the bridge, here's the back, here's not the bridge. As it comes up past where the neck would be in this area, the walnut will come up like this and possibly flare back a little bit. What I hope to be at the top edge here, you know, under your elbow, it's going to be really narrow. I've sort of drawn that out in Photoshop. I don't exactly know how to draw that out the way I want to do it. And I think part of it's just going to have to be sort of figure it out and just do it. I really should be able to plan this better. But, you know, I guess one of the things I like best about doing this is sort of figuring it out on the fly. I just like that. And sometimes it's wildly successful and sometimes it's not. All right. So I've got my center line right there in the middle of the badouk. All right. Is that visible-ish? I know the neck's gonna need just a little more than the width of this piece, so I can't hollow anything beyond that, so I know that much. The pickups are gonna take up, you know, what is that? And I know that the actual cavity is a little bit smaller, but we're just gonna use the whole size of the ring. Well, I got 26. 26. So I know I need to keep at least this as thick as possible for the pickups. This is where the cavity is going to go. So this has to be thick enough to support all the controls. This piece could be thinner. So I could do what the initial plan was and use this line here. And I could probably come a little closer to the neck. And in fact, since this might be something interesting where it's more of this, which will blend into the neck somehow. And it can't just be a straight line because that'll look dumb. Maybe do kind of what I did in the initial plan where I kind of sort of split the difference from here to here, about there. And just mimic kind of what's happening. So what this means is I'm going to have to come up with a template or do I need a template? See, this is what I'm talking about. I know what I want this to look like, and I'm just this close to not being able to visualize it until I do it. So this, viewed on edge, if this is going like this piece, it's going to be straight, and then it's going to curve like this to the edge. So the arrow going this way is the same as the arrow going that way. And should this be a gradual slope, that might be kind of cool too. So instead of it being parallel to the back, it kind of fades towards the top, which I think might be really cool. All right, so what I'll have to do, I'm gonna need a template to ride the router on here that's a little bit higher than the side here. So as I'm routing, so basically the router will be sitting, instead of parallel, will be sitting like this. And then the question of, do I use a round over bit to get the curve to get this piece? Or do I do that with a gouge and some chisels and some hand magic? I don't know. But either way, I do know I need to figure this out, because I do want to do this. I need to make a template that makes that shape so I can repeat it. I'm going to have to do the same thing for the top, since the top's going to come down like this. I want to recess the top into here, but leave this control cavity area the same thickness. So the whole guitar is going to be about 1 3/4 inches thick. But I'm going to have to route the top, so I can't route farther down than about there, maybe even there. So that's actually better. I mean, I can route quicker. All right. Little math would solve this problem quite nicely, but I'm being stubborn. I have made a template for this line here, which is not the actual line where the curve will be cut, but it's about, I don't know, about 1 inch off of it. And what I'm going to do is then I've made another template for the outside edge that is thinner. So, got neighbors screaming. I don't know if you can see the difference there, but this is a little thinner, 1/2 inch versus 3/4. So what I'm going to do is use this, so my router, when I'm making the initial cut with the straight bit, it will be at an angle, which is what I want. I hope it's enough. But what I don't get from this, I can probably adjust with, some sanding, lots of sanding. So that's the plan. I hope that makes sense. I'm saying it and I'm not entirely sure it makes sense. It makes sense in my head. It should work on paper. It looks good. But the first thing I got to do is thin this down to where I want it to get. And that'll be a start. Hopefully you can see what's happening here. It occurred to me that I don't necessarily need to do this whole thing all at once. I was originally going to take like a piece of MDF, another 1/2 inch piece, and use these blocks like this out here to act as a great big sled support. I'm sure there's a term for it, but this is what was good. The 1/2 inch was going to sit on here, and then this other piece is set on the guitar. I was going to do the whole thing. But really the important part is just this right here. This is where it's got to be perfect. Once I get past that, then, you know, it's not that I don't have to be precise or anything. It just does. I don't have to be so concerned about that one little line. So then I can just do this piece and then move this out, and do that. You know, I can do it in degrees, so I'm not having to span such a large space with the base of the router and make another, you know, big hunk of a MDF base or something, which will just save time because I don't feel like doing that. And this is a pretty big base as it is, so let's work with what we got. First pass went great. We'll see if this works. Let me explain what I'm doing here. I had the MDF from the template, which fits right along here, but I needed to be able to mount it securely, so I'm clamping these bits of the body down, and then I just screwed right into those hunks of wood there, but I had this bigger gap here I was worried about. So since I couldn't clamp it and get the router past it, I literally just screwed that piece into the table and this onto here. So this area right in here might get a little weird, right in the center here. We'll see what I can reach. That being said, the neck pocket's right about here. There'll be a pickup about there. So if I kind of waffle this particular bit, it's not the end of the world. I just hope I don't. I'm pretty happy with that. And it's so nice and flat there. You know, I was going to save this till tomorrow, but man, it's so close, you just have to go ahead and do it now. Yeah, I'm pretty darn pleased with how this is coming together. I'm going to start messing around with the top a little bit, and I've got something I'm not so sure about on the other side. We'll talk about that in the next episode as well. So, as I always say, like, subscribe, comment, leave recipes, favorite stories, whatever. Put something in the comments. See you next time.